All right. So ladies, we're going to go ahead and get started. We're so excited to welcome you into this private screening of this incredible adventure that Carmell and I have created to invite women just like you to step into adventure. And when we say step into adventure, you're going to find out that's exactly what we mean. And it really is about discovering something deep inside you, as you're going to see here shortly. So, Carmell, I'm going to invite you to introduce this particular thing. Why don't you go ahead?
Yeah, so we want you guys to think about why you are here today, because you've had different thoughts, obviously, and I've had the benefit of having some conversations with some of you about this, but we want to really have you connect in with what has brought you here today, just you personally. Are you at a crossroads or a new beginning point right now? Or maybe this is something that I find very often, you're feeling the pull of your soul purpose, but you're not clear on how to act on it next. Or you might be wanting to take the risk of letting go of who you have been for who you are next. Or you are answering this inner call to Italy that you felt for years, and there's a reason. Some of you have been to Italy before, but there's something different there for you, and you're feeling that perhaps as well. So whatever that is, we're going to ask you to just connect in with yourself. It's time. We want you to consider it's time for you to honor the call of global adventure as a woman. And I have to say, I know Amanda's had global adventure as a woman, so I'm just going to put that right out there right at the beginning. And this is us. And Bridget, would you just say a couple sentences to introduce yourself, and then I will?
Absolutely. So ladies, my name is Bridget Cook-Burch, and I'm a New York Times and Wall Street Journal bestselling author, a transformational trainer, and I am a passionate activist and humanitarian, and was delighted to meet Carmell a few years back, and it's been amazing ever since, the things that we do separately and then what we do together.
That's an understatement right there. Yeah, we definitely need to share more of Bridget's and my story with you another time. And so I am Carmell, as two of the three of you know. And I'm a master of transformational work. Over the past 20 years of my coaching, speaking, and writing, I have created my own method for my upcoming book, The Transformation Effect, for what I call transformational influence. And I teach that, I train on that, and educate on transformational influence. I'm location independent. I live, work, and travel all over the world. As I'm meeting with you right now, I'm in France at 1:45 in the morning in southern France, because I'm here studying French. So.
That's how much she loves you, ladies. It's 1:45 and there she is. So these are the dates of the retreat that we're inviting you to. And so what we want you to know is that there's one full week at a gorgeous, beautiful farmhouse in a countryside, much like this one, May 15th through the 22nd. And we'll go into that and tell you what that entails. There's also a few slots left for our VIP adventure. And that's a on-off train, tiny backpacks, and we'll explain that. We'd love for you to write down those dates, May 23rd through 26th as well. And so that you have that indication. So there's the full week, and then for those that choose in, there's a few extra days of amazing adventure on top of that without luggage, and with lots more that we'll describe for you. So Carmell is really good at the language, as you can tell. That's one of her things. So she's going to tell you all about some places we're going to visit, and then we'll share some beautiful scenes.
Right. So what we have here, just to give you the quick list, we're going to be taking you to Civita, the Jewel in the Hill. We'll talk about that in a minute. Petigliano, including another surprise place in the process of going to Petigliano, which is a water adventure for us. It's actually someplace off the beaten path that most people don't know when they're going to Italy, even if they've been many times. And then we have a 5-star Italian cooking class with another special surprise. We love surprises, by the way. So that's actually key for this whole Italian experience. It's a lot of surprises, wonderful ones. Pienza and Montepulciano. So most people are very familiar with Montepulciano, but not necessarily with Pienza. Pienza is actually the birthplace of the Renaissance, and it is a gorgeous kind of golden white stone town. Not like the darker stone of a lot of the other, like Montepulciano and a lot of the other villages that people are familiar with. It's also the center place for pecorino, which is the main cheese of that area of Italy. And then there's also our Villa Sant'Anna wine initiation. We're going to tell you about that, which is really cool. And then our Orvieto adventure. So we have 3 full-day adventures in that week and 3 half-day adventures. This is all separate from the VIP, of course.
So this is our main retreat, and the reason we call it Sanctuario is because it's just that. It's a sanctuary. It's absolutely beautiful. So imagine a sweet little farmhouse in the Italian countryside. Imagine having your windows flung wide open and the shutters back and the birds singing and Italian opera music wafting in the breeze, and Luca, our chef, making an absolutely amazing, wonderful breakfast for you so that you can enjoy and go out by the pool. We do deep, deep dives here for you personally in the transformation that you are seeking. And it's our resting place in between these amazing off-the-beaten-path adventures that we have. Our first one that we want to share with you, this is Civita, the jewel on the hill. It's also known as the Vanishing City because the rock that it is built on is slowly disintegrating a little at a time. In a few hundred years, this city will no longer be here. So it's beautiful and amazing for us to be able to go to. For many years, no one knew anything about it, and even though it's about an hour and 15 minutes away from Rome. But Carmell will explain some things to you, but she has had the opportunity to get to know a lot of the locals as she traveled here and then came across this amazing place. And she took me on my first outside of Rome adventure. I've been doing humanitarian work inside of Rome, but Rome adventure and out into Tuscany, Umbria is completely, totally different. And so this was my first immersion, and it's absolutely amazing. There are no motorized vehicles. You get a taste of what Italy was 50 to 100 years ago, and you cross a beautiful bridge and then enter into this magical little wonderland.
So the bridge that you see is actually necessary because a few hundred years ago there was an earthquake that caused all of the town where you see the bridge to completely just fall into the valley. And so this little part of the town that you see was isolated and abandoned for hundreds of years until the first bridge was constructed to be able to access it again. And now you can only access it by walking, which is really quite charming. And the village is small, and we have some secrets, some wonderful secrets there as well. Bridget, if you want to hit the next slide. This is Pitigliano, and we have some other pictures of Pitigliano that I wanted to be able to share, but those will be for another time. This little town is extraordinary, and it's one that people don't really know about generally, unless you rent a car and you take off across the Italian countryside and out of the way places in Tuscany, and then you'll probably find it. But Pitigliano has a very unique history because it has a combined community of Catholics, Roman Catholics, and Jews that lived here peacefully for hundreds of years. And this became very important at the time of World War II when Mussolini and the Nazis were systematically hunting down and killing the Jews that they could find, the Italian Jews. This town protected, they hid the Jews and moved the Jewish families and moved them from place to place to place. And we have had, I don't know if it will happen again, but we have had the opportunity 2 years of doing the retreats, of being able to meet here in the town the last living survivor, Elena Servi is her name. Feisty, amazing woman in her 90s, absolutely charming. And it's really quite an extraordinary village for so many reasons. It's also the favorite village usually for women for the shops. Elena, the history of the town, the fact that it's really quite unusual and so charming and beautifully situated on the top of a mountain in the middle of this beautiful green valley. So,
and the local historian and librarian is also our tour guide.
Is our tour guide. Yeah, she's, oh my God, we love her. We love her.
Absolutely.
So we wanted to share this slide with you because it tells you just a little bit about the amazing experiences we have with the cooking class, but we don't show you actual pictures of the cooking class surprise because it would give away something very important. Just know that we create an amazing experience with our 5-star Italian cooking class in an unbelievable location. Like, it's so incredible, with amazing chef, and then we get to sit down to the fantastic dinner that we've actually worked to help create. And I'm just going to point out on that last slide that you're also seeing Pinzimonio, which is going to come up again in just a minute. So
beautiful.
Here is Carmell. Oh yeah, okay, here is Pienza. Pienza is, a lot of people consider it the heart of Tuscany, but a lot of people who live in Tuscany would consider where they are the heart of Tuscany. So, but this is the town that has that golden white stone that's so beautiful. And when, at the beginning of the Renaissance, the Pope who was the beginning of the Renaissance there actually lived in Pienza. He built his palace here in Pienza. And it's really quite a stunning and extraordinary little village. It also has one of the 3 best gelato places that Bridget and I love. So, okay, 4 from the 4 best. I forgot about the one on the VIP.
Oh yes, one of our favorites for sure. And we would love to introduce you on this trip to an extraordinary woman. This is our Simone of the Villa Santa Anna, and she is a multi-generational landowner who turned the family farm into a vineyard, and in a place that is known for patriarchal business, and especially when it comes to vineyards and winery, she has knocked the local socks off and internationally with her wines. She has several different wines. She is very exacting in her taste, and she's just so Italian and so wonderful. But she loves us. We come to visit her every year. She teaches the women, she teaches us precise pairings of foods and wines, and lets us enjoy some of the different flavors and the different kinds of wine, the pre-meal wines and the during the meal wines, and which wines go with what food. And the way she does it is so amazing and delightful. And she's absolutely, I think, just as enamored of us as we are of her. And she's even introduced us to her dogs, which she doesn't do with every single person. But we love that she's one of those chain breakers and path makers because of what she's been able to do with what she has. So she inspires us as business women. We can't wait for you to meet her.
And this is Orvieto. Orvieto has an amazing history. It was founded by the Etruscans, and then the Romans came after that. The people that lived here were actually under siege by Rome for 2 years, holding out against Rome. It was a particularly important place, Orvieto, on the maps, because it was this key spot between the very powerful forces of Siena and the powerful forces of Rome, and it was this access point over to the coast. And so it was really sought after. So you still have Etruscan ruins here. You have a beautiful town that is known for its local wines. We have a lot of those wines that we share at our dinner table every day. And it has a beautiful church that you can see for miles that's on the top of the hill. So Orvieto is a really stunning, amazing little place with some other surprises that we have in store. And we will happen to be in Italy in the poppy season, which is very short-lived and incredible. Like, it's just a dream. It's such a dream. All right, continue.
It totally is. And we want to introduce you to an extraordinary woman. This is our Stefania Settocatrini. And Stefania is a local businesswoman, another one who has broken out of the patriarchal norms. Right in Bano Reggio, she has her own travel store. And she works with Russians and Chinese and Americans, and she helps to set up travel around the world. She speaks multiple languages. Her biggest language is that of love. Like, you meet her and you fall in love with her. She's just, I mean, she is like the Italian mama, but she's so young. And so she has a little one. You can see she's wearing a little bell that we bought for her, because the Italians wear a little bell for angels for their baby. But she folds you in her arms and takes care of you the whole time that you're with us. And she makes sure that everything runs really smoothly, and she works with the locals. You can see her on the phone. She's always making sure that the schedules, the trains, every part of it is just on point, and we love her for that. You know, if something goes off on the train schedule, we've got Stefania, and we make sure that we get right back on. She's amazing. And I'd love to introduce you to Luca. Luca! Every woman that comes to Italy falls in love with Luca, at least in our retreats, but even others. So Luca is actually a local geologist, and he is an amazing chef. And so he'll make the most glorious breakfast that you've ever eaten, including cake for breakfast. That's one of his favorites. But they eat certain amounts of sweets and different things. What I would love to share with you, for those that, you know, are completely carb-free and sugar-free and this and that and the other, most of our women actually lose weight when they go to Italy for two reasons. Number one, we're active, and number two, their food is so pure. We don't have the gluten issues. We don't have the impurity issues. And so women that really struggle here in the U.S. absolutely love and adore this pure food. And then they fall in love with Luca as well, and they want to bring him home with them so he can cook for them. But he fixes absolutely lovely spreads all throughout the day whenever we're at the farmhouse, or when we come in for an excursion and we find Luca in the kitchen greeting us and welcoming us. He also will pair incredible wines for your palate, makes lots of delicious snacks and things. You will not go hungry in Italy. We promise you that. And there's a reason you're not going to go hungry as well, and that's because you have Carmell. And Carmell is a foodie, and she's very exacting in her taste. Like Simona is with the wines, Carmell is with the food, and also making sure the wine is up to par. And so she's going to introduce you to what she has created with Luca as a sample.
So that was another picture of the Pinzimonio. So our sample menu that I want to give to you, or go through with you right now. So when you come, the welcome snacks at Villa Caggia, for example, you'll have hot, fresh rosemary sea salt focaccia that Luca has just made for us, straight out of the oven, and it is seriously some of the best anything ever on the planet. We have the local cheeses that they've brought in, which are incredible. Different selections of olives, and of course always the seasonal vegetables, fresh raw seasonal vegetables and fruits. And then we always have it paired with an amazing wine. In this case, we have the Rufino Orvieto Classico. And then we always have, Bridget is a tea person, I'm a coffee person. Isn't that lucky for everybody? So Bridget brings the most incredible tea assortment you'll ever see, and I make sure that we are covered for the coffee contingent. So prima colazione is breakfast, And here's a sample of our breakfast menu: spinaci, frittata, ai funghi e cipollini. So of course it's a frittata with spinach, mushrooms, and onions, spring onions. And then specialita al forno is the crostata di ciliegi. So this is actually one of my favorites because I am a cherry fiend. He makes this amazing crostata. It's not even terribly sweet. It's just flavorful, right?
Oh, it's the best.
That's the best part. Not a lot of sugar, just a lot of flavor. But this dark cherry crostata for breakfast with your frittata, I mean, come on, right? It's so amazing. And then we always have fresh fruits in the morning, and of course the coffee, the teas, and the perfect cream for the coffee.
And eating al fresco. We eat outside whenever we can because we've picked the perfect time of year where the weather is generally absolutely stunning. And so as often as we can, we will eat outside and you can enjoy that beautiful countryside.
Perfect. For pranzo, an example for our lunch would be pinzimonio e pecorino. So pinzimonio is all of these different vegetables, including the fresh fava beans, which are so good. Combined with the cheese, and you have olive oil on your plate and a little bit of salt, and then you just have the vegetables with a little oil, a little salt, and a little cheese, if that's how you like to do it. And it's simply amazing. It's so light, it's so delicious, and we could eat it for days. But it's just the appetizer, because this is probably the favorite dish of everybody who comes and Luca prepares for us. It's lasagna di primavera con asparagi, zucchini e noce. So this lasagna is in his special nutmeg white sauce, and it is so good that people ask for seconds and thirds.
And they ask him to make some that they could take home with them. It's that good.
Yes, it's the best thing ever. In fact, one of our women last year had her birthday while she was there, and she asked for this for breakfast the next morning on her birthday, so she got to have it for breakfast. The fragola e panna fresca is, of course, strawberries and fresh whipped cream. It's amazing as a follow-on from the lasagna. And then for dinner, we have cena. We have spigola al forno con pomodorini e patata, which of course, as you can see, is the sea bass baked with cherry tomatoes, onions, and potatoes in Luca's style. It's amazing. Insalata mista d'allotto. And then, of course, we have an amazing Sangiovese from this area right there to have with dinner. And then the desserts are always like, I mean, you just can't stand them. They're so good. The almond cake with ricotta mousse and chocolate chips. So here's a sample menu. Everything is put together in such a way that there's not anything too heavy or too light, and that there's plenty of protein to be able to balance out whatever else you're having, and as much fresh, and because the Italians eat a lot more pasta than we eat here, so I've specifically made our menus to be pasta light and more vegetable heavy, if that makes sense. So we have the best of all worlds, I guess is probably the best way to say it. Good.
Well said. So your Italy Adventure, ladies, is designed not to be just a destination, not to be just a tourist situation, but to actually be an epic adventure. That something internally happens within you, that it anchors in incredibly powerful change. And we don't say that lightly, as you'll soon see. And what we mean by that is that everything that you reference about yourself, that it links back to your transformation and what you did here. So, Carmell, I would love, because you're so gifted in all the different travels that you've done throughout the world, in recognizing when things work and women have this opportunity for change and when they don't. Would you share with us this?
Yeah, so Bridget and I, what we've created with this particular retreat is very different than a lot of what you'll see out there, probably most of what you will see out there. And there's a really great article New York Times published. This woman went on a transformational retreat and wrote about it, which of course was just jarring for us and really difficult to read, but it really gave me the opportunity to break it down and tell you what the myths are about transformational travel, retreats, and adventures worldwide. So here are some of the myths. The first is that transformation can be intentionally created. It cannot. Transformation happens spontaneously, of course. Experiential travel and adventure, they don't equal transformation. So there are a lot of extreme, transformational kinds of adventures or retreats and that sort of thing. But adrenaline does not create transformation. Transformation is something that happens inside. So a situation can help produce the opportunity for that, but it isn't that. We need to be able to know the difference. This idea that you need to get lost to find yourself is also one of those myths of transformation. You don't need to get lost to find yourself. Sometimes that happens, but again, the real way that transformation works, which we'll go into, doesn't require that. Another thing is that people use Joseph Campbell's The Hero's Journey all the time, and this idea that if I bring Joseph Campbell and the hero's journey into what I'm doing, that automatically means transformation because that's what the hero's journey is. It's not true. The actual following of what he outlined happens naturally through the course of somebody's experience if it's set up correctly, but you can't manufacture it. Number 5, telling people the transformations they're going to have equals the transformations for them. Obviously that doesn't work, but you'll be surprised, or maybe not surprised at all, that that is all around us all the time. Another thing is arbitrary rituals or dogma or initiations create transformation. They do not. One of the things the travel writer wrote about is being taken through this cave as though it was a rebirth, as she's being told, we're going through the cave and this is a rebirth, right? Like that's what she was told as they're doing that. These ideas of creating something, they have to be done in a very certain way from a very deep level, a very deep place in order for them to really work. And then a guide of travel adventure can guide the inner journey. Not true. You can have the same or both in the same person, but somebody who is as a guide for adventure, a travel guide, does not necessarily understand what transformation is. But all too often they will lead that. They will lead this supposed transformational adventure. So the last 2 are having everything done for you. Transformational experience means that. It's not true. We have created an amazing event, an amazing experience where we take such amazing care of you, incredible care of you. But that's in order to create the opportunities for transformation to occur. They don't actually mean that that's transformation. And finally, luxury does not create the space for true transformation. There's a point at which luxury then becomes the experience and not the transformation. So it has to be a balance of the things that are happening in the right ways. So let's go ahead and talk some more about that. Bridget, if you want to bring up the next slide. The truths about transformation that I want to share with you today are that travel can, of course, powerfully open up transformation. I think that most of you, if not all of you, have some experience with that. Travel can do it. Every planned and unscripted detail or moment serves the opportunity for transformation. This is one of the truths. So when we have created what we put together, there are the things that we planned and there are the things that we go off plan in order to meet the experience and the need of the moment. And we're able to move very, very fluidly with exactly what is happening with the women who come with us. What we have discovered in this way is something extraordinary, something that neither of us had experienced previously in our retreats before that. And somehow the 2 of us together doing this works like magic. Truths about transformation include that the guides must hold deep enough experience and integrity. And for me, this is so important. This is key because for myself, when I've been in experiences, if I'm with someone who's the guide, who is not completely all in with me, with everything that we are doing, then I can't be all in with that person to go on this journey for the possibility of the transformations that could occur. So you need to have somebody who knows themselves that well and is in that much integrity with themselves and actually has enough experience to be able to do that. And then the last things on here are that the guys must be smart enough to call you on your bullshit and take no credit at all for your empowerment. That is very key. They have to be all in, and it has to be all yours. And of course, last, the intention is the key in the lock to every chosen transformational journey. So when you choose to come to Italy with us, one of the things that we do with you in the course of the weeks and months leading up to that is work with you to get into what your clear intention is. And we're going to walk into that today with you, but once you make the decision to come, there are next steps that fall into line about the intention that you have. We have a very clear intention as well, and when we bring those two sides together, it's absolutely incredible. The possibilities are exponential, and we have seen the effects of that not only during the retreat, but in the weeks and months and years following the retreat that we have created. That is not even a joke. So, Bridget, would you talk about how we transform?
Absolutely. So, ladies, you all know, I mean, everyone on the call has created amazing things. You've created children, you've created work, you've created your own businesses. And you know that your degree of participation, how you choose to show up, is what's going to invite your level of transformation. So, as Carmell says, it's not only what we bring to the table, there is magic when you bring your own goals and intentions to the table. And there's this amount of spontaneity and unknown that challenges you. It's designed that way because we want you to sometimes be a little bit uncomfortable so that you stretch and you grow, because we never stretch and grow when we know everything in our environment. And so this is like this delicate dance, a delicate balance, but it is extraordinary, especially for movers and shakers like yourself who are helicopter moms and helicopter individuals always doing everything for everyone else. And this is a time where details are handled for you in such a way that you can absolutely be at home within yourself. And so as you're making this transformation, what is beautiful is that you get to witness other people in the midst of theirs and be witnessed. Sometimes, ladies, we're not seen in our transformation, and something really powerful happens. Like if you've experienced powerful transformation in the past, you had a connection with a creator, with nature, or with another individual human being, or in a group. And in this situation, you get to have all of those that you choose. We also keep it simple because deep transformation requires some quiet and alone time. Like Carmell and I are movers and shakers and adventurers. Like we could go, 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 go. But we also know that there's things that come up as you do this. And so we provide this sweet spot in between these adventures where you can write, where you can feel, where you can process and be free of a schedule. Maybe for some of you for the first time in your entire lives. And we know how important it is that you have these private experiences and discoveries, because a true transformational leader will not tell you what you are learning. She will ask you. She will be a part of that discovery of what you are learning. The answers you're finding inside of yourself becomes that powerful. So what creates these true transformational results? Carmell's going to explain this because she's got it down pat.
So I just want to acknowledge, Amanda, that I know you need to go.
Yeah, I'll stay on I'll stay on until probably 8:30.
Okay. I just want to respect your time completely. So I wanted you to not just have to slide out of here. I wanted you to be able to see me looking at you. So okay. Perfect. All right. We'll continue. Okay, so what I would like to share with you is we've just walked through what transformation isn't and what it is, and what we've done to create a space for yours is to give you this all brought down into a very small, very simple, easy to remember reference point. What creates true transformational results is the container, the environment, and the inner journey. So as you're looking for your own experience, I want you to be able to look at every experience with the lens of these three things. The container is your guides, the plan, and the space. And when I say the space, I don't mean Italy or the accommodations. What I mean is the ability to hold the space. Amanda, you and I have talked about that previously, to hold the space that is so deep and does not go to sleep at night, right? That you have the ability to be held in that space nonstop from the time we pick you up from the train station to the time we take you back and you get on the train to head on to your next adventure. So that space has to be held completely the entire time, and for you and for everybody. So that is the container. The environment is the feeling, the accommodations, the adventures, and the tribe connections, obviously. This environment is key. Now, there are things that we can have some control over, and there are things we cannot have any control over. And Bridget and I trust the process completely. We've had some really significant things come up with the women who've come together, because there's no accident about who comes when the whole group comes together. And it always, when we trust the process and we continue forward, holding every single person so close and so carefully in that process, it creates this unbelievable experience for every person there, and opens the door for the very things that they were coming for to happen. So the environment is key. And then last of all, the most important perhaps, although they're all equally so, I think, is the inner journey, your intention, your risk, our intention, our risk, your vulnerability, our vulnerability, the quiet that you get to have, the love that you are wrapped in and that you get to experience in yourself, the decision, of course, and the trust. So as you think about what creates true transformational results, we're going to ask you to remember it's the container, the environment, and the inner journey, and you know what those are.
Beautiful. So we want to introduce you to your badass guides. This is Carmell and I, who love each other enough to squeeze each other tight. It's amazing that we come from such different worlds. And in so many ways, we are like night and day. And we have had our own powerful transformations. And what's interesting is sometimes when you get powerful women together, they do this. And what Carmell and I have discovered is how to do this and how to spread that and teach that and bring that. And our adventures have been really lovely. I mean, you'll see us just raw and real and unkempt and joyful, because that's a part of this whole amazing thing. And you'll notice that you yourself will have the opportunity to open your arms and your heart wide, because Italy opens you right up into spontaneous laughter, joy, the poppy fields, right?
I forgot about this one. I love it.
All of these amazing places. Like, our photographers love to catch us laughing because we're constantly doing it. This is such a joyful country. I can't even believe it. I just love it. And the places that you get to go with us that we're not afraid to walk. And I mean in the country, and I mean with yourself. We're not afraid to walk there. We're not afraid to adventure there. We're not afraid to go into the dark places and the soft places and the tender places and the joyful places and the vibrant places. Because our very most favorite thing is to empower women. Like, we both absolutely love it. We have watched women unfold before us like blossoming lotuses. Like, it's amazing what this kind of travel does when you are seen, when you are heard, when your deepest desires and things come out when you're on the road, and you just get to be with each other and be yourself. It's powerful. It's our very most favorite thing to do. So as we move forward, we want to share with you one of our ladies. This is Lee up here, and she's so cute. We were on our VIP, and this particular one, we had the VIP before the retreat. And we got done with our first excursion, and her voice went up really high, like many octaves. And she's like, awesome! This is so awesome. We're only 3 hours in, and you have over-delivered already. I just love that. That's our Lee. And she just, the things that happened to her while she was there was amazing. And those of you ladies who have worked with Carmell, you know she is all about the freedom. And together we are all about the freedom and your empowerment. And they're not mutually exclusive. And it's important for you to recognize that. We do not control you, but we certainly empower you. And so when you arrive, you're liberated from the micromanaging of details, all the things that you're used to having to do at home and at work. We handle those for you. You don't have to worry about timetables or keeping other people happy or pulling something out of the oven just in time. Like, you get to be present with yourself. And that is, I think, too, one of the greatest gifts that our ladies get to have. And when we say spread your wings wide, like, we're talking wide. If you've ever just done this before, you know that we're going to stretch you so that you have the opportunity to grow all the parts of you. Even the parts where you've played small or held back or just, I'm not going to bring this forward. So this is the joy that happens. And I don't know why, but I didn't feedback. So I'm going to and unmute. Okay, there we go. So spontaneous joy. And if you haven't had enough of it in your life, you will discover it in Italy, and then you will end up bringing it home with you. What do you think about this continuing renaissance, Carmell?
So I would like for Bridget, for you to share about Beth Ann, because what we have created when we put this all together was something that was not just going to be while you were in Italy. We always intended that your renaissance, this was a doorway, right? That you were moving towards this doorway, and then when you came to Italy, you would come through this doorway, and then on the other side, you would be continuing forward in a completely new and different way within yourself and in your life, both, right? That is the essence of Renaissance. And what we have seen with our women who've come to one degree or another, but usually quite significantly, that their lives have gone through an amazing renaissance into something so much more aligned for them, so much more leaped forward, quantum leap forward in their purpose, or making sure if they were not in alignment with that, that they moved into alignment with that, and that everything else moved around to follow after that alignment of their purpose in their lives. So we want you to know that in this process of continuing Renaissance, we are supporting you entirely in that as you continue to build and create from everything that comes as a result of the metamorphosis of this experience. Bridget, would you share about Beth Ann?
Absolutely, I'd love to. So ladies, this is another powerful badass goddess. This is Beth Ann McMurray, and I will tell you, she already before she came to us, she had financial prowess. She had created her own business. She was a CPA. She worked for lots of different companies for a while and then built her own business, became a consultant, helping many different companies. And she wanted to empower women in a dramatic way. And she had been working on that. She created some financial goddess cards and some other things, but she was really helping a lot of women to transform from the inside out in their financial life. But Beth Ann knew when she got ready to come to Italy, she was afraid and scared and excited because she knew that she was ready to up-level. She had experienced some extreme trauma when she was a child, and she had worked with me on her book, and we had moved through a lot of that childhood trauma, and what she recognized was that she was healing that, but what it had created were patterns in her life and relationships as an adult to where she wouldn't allow intimacy with other adults. And so as she came together with the women, she still had her guard up for a little while, and she was enthralled with everything that she was seeing and doing. But then we had the most incredible experience with her as she let down her walls, as she chose to be Beth Ann in all her glory. That that she knew that the expert in her was loved, but she also knew the little girl in her was loved, and the grown woman was loved, and the friend was loved, and every aspect of her. She also loved that Italian art picture a lot of women very voluptuous, and she began to see herself as this voluptuous creature instead of something bad, sick, and wrong. It was just gorgeous for her. And you watch her here, she's just shining. She made new friends. She went shopping together. She bought herself something beautiful and magnificent to reflect what it was that she was experiencing on the inside. And what we loved was how she would just broke her heart wide open. And what she created from that point was really priceless. And what I want to share with you is when she came home, this woman right here, when she came to Italy, she didn't have the skill sets to let down her walls and have that intimate relationship. When she came home, two things happened. One is she said, I could live anywhere in the world that I wanted. So a fear she didn't even know she had went away. But the other one, that fear of intimacy, she decided to go live with a family member for a little while so they could practice getting close. And she had a new skill set and was able to make that happen. And then moved out with this new friendship of her family member and the ability for her to have freedom. So location independence like Carmell, and this freedom to be intimately close to other human beings that she absolutely loved. And so we got to watch this all unfold before us, be a part of her transformation. But I will tell you this, ladies, we don't take credit for the transformation. We work on that container, right? That's our job. So what we do is we provide this landing place for your safety, a canvas for your soul's art, and a landscape of absolute possibilities. I get all choked up for what it is that you want and that you are creating in your own life. And that's why the magic of this unfolds so beautifully before us. So Carmell is going to walk you through a couple steps of what this means for you if you feel Italy calling to you.
So step one, as you think about this, is to get very clear on what you want changed or up-leveled this year. Because if you're going to do it, then you need to be very clear with yourself about what it is in it that's calling you, what wants to be changed, what wants to be up-leveled this year. Then hold this in your mind and write it out.
Yeah.
And step two, realize you were led here today for whatever reason, in whatever way you came, because you're connecting to the opportunity that we've created in Italy, that there is a connection there. The Italy Renaissance Women Adventure this year will work to create your big change. And why? As we've already talked about, the container, the environment, and the inner journey. And step three, you decide if you are ready. This is the right time and the right quantum leap that will bring you to your goal. And you intuitively know that you're worth this adventure and this transformation. Step four, you commit to taking the adventure. The excitement grabs your gut, as it always does when you do something really big, and you might not be able to sleep tonight. And you surrender to the inner journey beginning now. Once you sign up, once you register, your journey begins. We've been saying this from the very beginning, and it is true every single time women start to see the changes that they have decided they want in their lives once they have registered. Part of that is your intention, and part of that is ours, because we've been creating it and waiting for you.
Mm-hmm. Even two women that were on this call a couple of days ago, holy cow, just from them getting clear on what they really want. And it's been beautiful for us to witness. So for this retreat sanctuario, this full week, we wanted to share with you what that adventure, what the payment looks like, what the cost is. And so here's your great adventure, which has begun. If you are feeling called to this, it's a single payment of only $47.99. And that's a special just for you. And what we would love for you to know is Stefania and Carmell in particular have gone through all of the adventures, what we offer, where we take you, what you experience, the food, the wine, the flavors, all of these different pieces. And it's very comparable to what Stefania sees out there for $13,000. And we want to make sure that you have the ability to come at such a reasonable price. So these are the payment plan options after you put down your $500 deposit. If you can't pay in full or need to work out something else, this is your $500 deposit. Plan A is 3 payments of $1,458, and Plan B is 6 payments of $757. So you see, we've sought to make it quite reasonable for you. And this is our special Lauren, who Carmell is going to introduce you to in a moment. But what we want, oh, go ahead, hon.
No, please, Bridget.
Oh, I was just going to say, the way that we've set this up is that you have this most breathtaking joy. And when we say we lead you on adventures of a lifetime, we mean it. We want you to have this experience where you go on adventures and then settle back into the quiet solitude of a light-filled farmhouse somewhere in the Italian countryside. And like Lauren, soak up the sun and the music of the birds and the friendships and the tribe that you have created, and to be with yourself. Go ahead, Carmell. I didn't mean to step on your toes there.
You didn't. You never do, Bridget. So decide for yourself, ladies. The call to travel, adventure, transformation is right here. And you have done transformational work in your life before, there's no doubt. And there's always whatever that next up-leveling in you is calling you toward. This opportunity, this event, this retreat, those of us leading it are ready to be able to bring you exactly that. I'm going to go ahead and put the link in the chat for the web page and the registration. So there you have that. If you click it,
sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Can I just ask a quick logistical questions, or if I can? Sorry.
Yes, please. Please.
Where would you fly into if you were going? Like, what airport would you recommend? And the second question, you can just answer both, and then I'll go on mute. Do you stay in one place the whole time, the same place, and you're just doing these excursions, or are we moving into different places throughout the week?
Good question. So you fly into Rome is the easiest because it's the largest airport close to where we are. And then to answer your second question, the retreat itself for that week, we are home based at our villa. So your luggage stays there. You don't have to pack everything up and cart it all over the place for that week. Everything's handled. And then as we explain a little bit further on, but I'll tell you right now, for the VIP, all of your luggage except for your tiny backpack gets held by Stefania, and we take off with the tiny backpacks and go, and that's when we move and go lots of different places and see lots of different things that are absolutely extraordinary. Every day is a new wonder. So does that answer your questions, darling?
And then we answer a lot more of those travel questions too, like beginning to end, which is great for you. You just have to decide for yourself, right? And here's where we talk about the VIP. Carmell, you designed this to be so extraordinary, and it changed the way I travel, and it changed my entire life. Will you explain to the ladies this VIP?
Well, yes. So what I wanted, and as you can feel, Amanda, even in the question you asked, is this feeling of freedom. Now there are different kinds of freedom that we feel when we travel, but I wanted this freedom to take advantage of what Italy has in terms of its trains, because the trains go all over the place and you can walk Italy in so many ways, right? Like it's just amazing. And so what we've done is create an adventure, because if you did this on your own, it would actually take you 3 to 4 weeks, probably about 3 weeks, to be able to do all of this and figure out, and some of the things you wouldn't even necessarily know to figure out. But we have actually brought all of it together in this 4-day, 3-night adventure where you literally, you get to cover so much ground and see such incredible things, and then at the same time have this amazing quiet and sanctuary space on the Mediterranean in a place that I won't tell you yet that is extraordinary. So it's got these different parts. Some of them are, you know, really in nature, and other parts are in these amazing places that you've only seen pictures of, or maybe you've traveled and been to but not seen in quite this way. So we've brought it all together in a way that's very carefully pulled together for you. But you also have to know that the VIP is always an adventure for us as well, because every year there are things that are different. Every year things change. And so we are on the adventure with you, and sometimes things go off the rails a bit, and that's part of the adventure, isn't it? And you don't know any of that because we have it all pulled together, but we're all in it together having this adventure. So that's the essence of the VIP right there. 6 women, 6 tiny backpacks, traveling light, and this absolute feeling of freedom. Every one of our women who's done it, it's that feeling, that dream that they've had for so long actually happening, and they're living it, and they can't even believe that they're living it. It is that feeling.
Mm-hmm.
So
we're going to show you some pictures that kind of exemplify the places we get to go on this adventure. You see those tiny backpacks. You're not lugging luggage around or being restrained. You have absolute freedom for joy and celebration. And because Carmell is such a foodie, we only stop in the most exquisite places to eat. I do personally not drink, but the women that do love the selection of wines and the pairing that she does with this. And we have wine not for breakfast, but she will have it at lunch, and she will have it for you at dinner, and she will have it later in the evening if we're sitting around celebrating. It's a part of the Italian culture. It's part of your ability to experience. But just imagine, like, these little towns off the beaten path in these places, and the beautiful waters of the Mediterranean, and, you know, eating gelato by the sea and other things. And this is like, we're giving you a teeny tiny taste of all that you get to experience. This freedom, I'm just going to give one tiny caveat. I took my son to Kenya on a humanitarian adventure, and then we stopped in Zurich, Switzerland at the airport for a 3.5-hour layover. In my past, I would have sat still right there, making sure we were not going to miss that flight, make sure all these things. But because I had learned from Carmell on this exact adventure, I said to my son, we have 3.5 hours, and the train goes straight into the center of town and comes back. Do you want to go have an adventure? And his eyes lit up, because, like, that was not his mom. And we went in and had breakfast and explored cobblestone streets and all of these things, and came back because of what I learned on here about carrying your safety with you, carrying your observations with you, also your adventure with you. I love traveling with Carmell because, man, she picks the most exquisite things. Oh, and ladies, every year we have some sort and another adventure, unlike any other adventures that we've had previously. Like last year, we were invited in this, can't even get the words for it, this spontaneous moment of joy where we were walking down a cobblestone street, and there was amazing Latina music, of all things, and there was a whole group that was learning dance, and they invited us in, and we got to salsa and rumba and do all these wonderful things together, meet locals, celebrate. They even had a cake and wine and all kinds of, and it was something that never happens when you're lugging luggage and you're worried about your location. These are the kinds of things that happen on the VIP that are priceless, absolutely priceless.
I love that you shared the story.
Yeah, and one other quick thing is that we also have the opportunity to get to know you, to get to know you on such an individual basis. Every time we get on the train, we get to have conversations that go so deep. We've already gotten to know you at the farmhouse, and we just take it levels deeper, and you become so precious to us. And we get to know each other in that beautiful way, that this sisterhood that's been missing from our society for a while, that it's rekindled, and it's just gorgeous. So forgive me, I get all passionate, but I just have to tell you, this is one of my favorite parts.
So there are only a few spots left on the VIP that we have right now for this year. It's $2,400, and if you want to flip to the next one, Bridget, we have a special where you can do a single payment. If you do single payment for both the retreat and the VIP, then you have a $400 savings. So the total is $67.99. And we have some other things to add to this. So if you're ready, let's go ahead. So the payment plan options for this are Plan A, which is 3 payments of $2,258, or Plan B, 6 payments of $1,157. And then if you decide in the next 48 hours to do this, we have some bonuses for you. So let's talk about bonuses. First of all, we have the amazing Bridget Cook-Burch. Would you share yours, Bridget?
Sure. It's The Witness Wore Red, my New York Times and Wall Street Journal best-selling book. And also, I told Carmell last week, you also get to have a pre-sale copy that I will send to you of Angel in Arlington, which is coming out this year. It's in the hands of our New York agent as we speak, and we're super excited to see what's going to happen with it. You also get a mini session with me that's recorded and sent to you called Outlining Your Signature Story for Page and Stage. And essentially it's for you to be able to up-level your communication and how you speak about yourself in business and in life, and even in your relationships. So it's been said that those who will dominate in the 21st century are those who understand the power of story, especially their own story. And so that's a beautiful thing that we work on together.
And Bridget's amazing, you guys. Like that right there, that little thing, like she doesn't even give you like how powerful it is. She packs everything in a very small amount of time, and you walk away with some serious power and value. So what I will be sharing with you is 30-minute clarity session, one-on-one. So whatever your target is, that's what we go into. And again, also, this is actually my genius. I have the ability to target in on whatever the thing is right now with you. I have people come in who say, I don't know, and they give 3 things, and all of a sudden we are down to the thing inside of them they had no idea of, and we're making progress. So that's what the clarity session is. If you do know what you want to focus on, it's even better. And also my signature self-directed program, the Core Self-Acceptance Breakthrough Masterclass, is included in this. That includes the workbook, the video training sessions, and the downloadable meditation. So you'll be able to have that. And then, this is the other cool one. If you came home in the next 72 hours, we will have for you all set up and ready to go your own guided Vespa tour of Rome. So you can have like some really cool Vespa guy and you on the back of the Vespa, and they're going to take you all over Rome and show you all of the things that you couldn't see just from walking, because it's so hard to walk Rome. Or if you just had your little tourist guide, you would miss so many things, right? Like these guys know everything. They have all the cool stories, and they themselves are really amazing, like so funny and so just wonderful. So,
and Jackie and Amanda, I noticed your faces just light up and you were grinning from ear to ear, just imagining that. Yes, it's that delicious and yummy and wonderful and beautiful to have this kind of a guided tour. That's why we get so excited about it. It's fun. So here you have it, total value, all of the bonuses, $1,550 worth, this adventure plus VIP. And if you remember, the retreat itself, we said, was worth $13,000 plus the VIP on top of that. And then this close collaboration with ourselves, our students, and well, we don't even call them students, our ladies that we adore. They call it priceless. And importantly, your new tribe of powerful women who are just like you, and bringing down their walls and making these huge connections. It's beautiful. So the actual cost $47.99, 2400 VIP, minus the $400 special is only $67.99 for both, for that entire week at the farmhouse with our half-day adventures and full-day adventures and coming back and being in that beautiful place by the swimming pool. And then the other VIP, it's only $67.99. So here's what you need to come up with is that price plus your flight and 14 euros train from the airport, your night stay in Rome on the 14th, and we can hook you up with that. And then any personal extras. You know, a lot of our ladies like to shop in Italy. Italy is a fun place to shop. And so what you would want to bring for that. Anything else that you want to mention on that, Carmell?
No, well, actually, yes, there is something I want to mention. So when we go on the VIP, we're really just finding places to eat. I mean, Bridget and I are taking care of all of that. So when you sign up to do this, everything's pulled together in a very, very structured way for us for the retreat, because that's how it works. But on the VIP, it's really just, you're coming with us and we got it. We got you covered. We got everything. Oh my gosh, we got to make it. We got to get to the train station. We got to take taxis, right? Like everything's handled. You don't have to worry about any of it as we are going and doing all of this, which really was kind of a new and extraordinary experience for even our very seasoned travelers. They had never had the experience of being able to have such an adventure and not having to think about or worry about any of all of the paying for it, taking care of this, where are we going to eat, what are we going to do here? Like it was just all, it was all handled. So it's really amazing to be able to have both sides of that. I just wanted to share that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It is. Because all your food, everything, you just come.
For the VIP, do you go back? Do you circle back to Rome, I'm assuming then, or you go and come back? So if I wanted to go somewhere else, I'm saying after that, would I have to come back to Rome first?
Yes.
Not necessarily.
Yeah, that's true.
If I had a small enough luggage to do the whole thing, I could.
Yeah, we actually, we pinch hit at a lot of different things. So if you want to do something else, we can definitely figure it out.
Okay, I'm just curious. Yes. Okay, thank you.
Good question from the seasoned traveler. She's like, hey, I'm going to take advantage of this. So yes, you can have a jumping off point from there.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So we want you to think about why you came today. Did you realize maybe that you've been at a crossroads or a new beginning? Or maybe now you realize you might be? Or you're feeling that pull of the soul purpose, but you're unclear on how to act on it? Or you maybe have more of an idea of that, but you want support on what you're doing next? Or maybe you're wanting to take that risk of letting go of who you've been up to this point, as much as you love her, and you're ready for who you are coming next in your life. Or you're answering that inner call to Italy. Something's been tapping at you and you've been feeling it and you're ready to actually know your reason and ready to come.
Beautiful.
So as we're finishing up, I want to share with you this little story. So Lauren wanted Italy straight out. She jumped all in from the beginning, and she traveled quite a bit in her life. She wasn't afraid to take the leap at all. Some women are. But she came ready to receive every single drop of wonder and deliciousness for her whole adventure. She didn't hold back at all. She could be heard exclaiming so many times a day, "Oh my God, really? You have Italian opera playing through the villa as we wander in the garden, writing in our journals, talking, soaking the sunlight," or the next wonderful thing, or the next wonderful thing. But what we discovered early on with Lauren was that she was holding back completely in her professional life, in her love life, and with her dreams. And it started when we asked her, "Lauren, what are your big dreams? What is your passion?" She was blank. Here she was, a strong, educated, and intelligent woman, and she had learned in her life to be practical. Why? Well, she was a single divorced parent. She was working to pay the bills, and even though now all her daughters were grown and successful, she was still working a job the same way. Also, she was playing out that never being supported by her mom growing up, because she'd had a very, very difficult childhood. So she worked for money, not for joy and fulfillment. She was holding out in a horrible job until retirement. And she had been through a very painful divorce in addition to that from a man who struggled with alcoholism. This and her history from childhood of not being important had made her practical about love. Her heart was too smart to get broken again. So when we asked what she dreamed of, she had no answer at all, not even a little. Her challenge at the retreat was to move out of her head and out of her knowledge and her study and her self-evaluation in order for her to take the risk of her heart, to trust her true self. She didn't even know what this meant when she came to Italy. So as Italy did its work of breaking her senses open, and as we took her off the edge of her life into the unknown of our adventure together, slowly and slowly, she began to feel. She began to touch something inside. She told us, I left Italy full to overflowing with all the love that you wrapped me in, like nothing I have ever felt. It was real. I was overflowing with this passion of every part of life all around me. And I knew finally that my question, which it turns out is more important than the answer sometimes, is, Lauren, what is your passion? So she continued with our program after Italy, delving into herself. And over the next year, we heard periodically from her. She was doing great. She was creating one version of her next big step after another and doing it, moving herself forward. And then one day in September, a year and 3 months after her Italy adventure, I missed a call from Lauren out of the blue. I called her right back. Oh my God, Carmell, I did it. I did it. I gave my notice. I quit my job. I finished my certification for addiction coaching, and I'm going to be working with people and families struggling to deal with those in their lives who have addiction. Oh my God, I have found my passion, Carmell. Lauren has finally found her passion. I am so excited. I can't stand it. Word for word. 3.5 years after Italy, Lauren is successfully working, helping people in her life's purpose. And it's clear she's also working from her own importance on the planet, something that was missing from her life up to that point. She's in her 60s now, and she is living her truth fully and loving it.
Yeah. Oh, I just love that. So ladies, now it's time for you to consider this for you. And we would love to know, first of all, when we ask the question at the beginning, you know, have you felt that call? Have you felt that pull? And what is it that brought you here tonight? And what maybe opened up inside of you? We would love for you to share that. And then we'll also get into logistical question and answer, because this is your time.
So once you've registered, just so you've got this information, we'll send you a special welcome email with instructions like checking your passport or all of that, the packing list, the special packing list for the VIP, your preferences. We're going to be sending out the worksheets for that, the drinks you prefer and don't, the food allergies and dislikes. We customize our menu for you and other particulars about you that we want to know. And then, of course, searching the tickets, adjusting your calendar to allow at least for that extra day in Rome before we start, maybe extra days after. And then we can talk about the day you want to fly back and all those other logistics. And that is everything right there. All done.
All done. So we're going to leave you just with this one magical word, andiamo, which is a beautiful word to speak out into the countryside. So imagine yourself in this beautiful place, out in the sunshine, enjoying the pastures and the horses and the trees and the cypresses. I mean, they're just gorgeous. And the music, and then you hear in the distance, andiamo, andiamo, here we go, off to our next adventure. So instead of saying goodbye, we like to just say andiamo. And here we go, ladies, because you spoke some things into the space tonight. And so we're excited to support you in whatever that looks like. And we just want to say andiamo. 2020 is your year. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll be in touch with you in the next day. All right.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful night.
Bye.
Thank you for joining
Bye.
us. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jackie. Thanks, Amanda.
Thank you.
Bye.